Bit of context and my context, so you know, although I've taught 29 years, 25 in senior leadership team, 14 as a head, never in an international setting, always within the UK, within schools, within really challenging circumstances. Challenging for social context, but also challenging for underperformance through leadership within schools, etc. That's just been where I've spent my time trying to improve. For me though, right from the beginning, it's been important to make sure that every child has a voice and every child is a leader. I've been fortunate when I came in to school yesterday, I spent the day with the leaders, the ISHCMC leaders, all day looking at their leadership roles and redefining leadership for students within this school, within this setting, which is great, and that was wonderful, and that's they're well on the way anyway. There's some great things occurring here. The students want to take it further, and I'll share a little bit more about that shortly. But it's about every student being a learner, every student being a leader, not just those privileged few who are making it to those appointed positions. And really, I'm just going to give you a few examples of the things I've done in my own schools, in my own establishments, and one particular case in a real challenging circumstance where student leadership helped improve the school, also helped transform a community, a very damaged community. A series of headlines of things we can look at. The values of the school are what drives the school. It's the heart of the school. Student leadership is to be embedded in the values of the school. So in the school I was a head teacher at last year, some students, not leaders, came to me absolutely appalled with what was happening with the refugee crisis and the Syrian refugees who were stuck in camps just over the border in Calais and Dunkirk. They wanted to do something about it, came with a proposal, engaged other students in there, and before we knew it, within 3 weeks, we had 2 school minibuses loaded with brand new gloves, scarves, hats, staff and students going to deliver these into the refugee camps themselves and take part in some of the workshops with some of the young children in those camps. Direct leadership, direct action by students who had a voice, had a passion they wanted to follow. Equally in school, 6th formers over Christmas went to the local children's hospital where children were stuck in over Christmas. On Christmas Day, sang carols, took toys. They were leaders in their own right. The course they were doing built into their course to do these sorts of programs, these leadership outreach schemes, and equally within the school, a connection with the school was actually a school in Kenya where I didn't set this up myself, but the students over the last 4 years have sponsored a school. 6th formers have gone out, the year 12s gone out each year to help build another part of the school. Some real direction by students. These are students with a passion, an individual passion, not necessarily whole school leaders. Embed student leadership in genuine decision making. Quite often we'll ask the students to vote on fictitious projects or things that don't really matter or things that have already been predetermined. In 2010 and 2012, I was fortunate to be able to build a new academy, £25 million academy in the heart of a really deprived area. The plans, you see an architect drew them up, but in the designs, in the full programme, we had a design team of students involved. When the building was being built, they had the hard hat fluorescent jacket for visiting the site, they were helping with the quality assurance. And actually, on the first day when we opened, then, this is in the Agora space that was visioned, not only the school children that were in the school, but the children coming through the primary school were also involved. They felt it was their school, they had ownership of the design in a real project. Embedding student leadership in the curriculum and classroom. How many schools here plan leadership into the curriculum? Now I know some of the IB course people have talked about some of the projects things do, but right from primary all the way through, is leadership planned to occur? So we had a series of challenges, year 7, 8, 9, 10, for them to lead their own learning, be able to lead within skills and functions, and also some of the life challenges for those students to be able to do each year, and built in. You graduated each year, once you've completed each of the challenges, they culminated in the prom at the end of the year 11 within the school. Create genuine student leadership partnerships in the real world. Again, there are a great deal of resources, primary and secondary views. We were fortunate that the BBC located 800 metres down the school from my new building, so we partnered with the BBC, so students became student reporters. For those people that know the BBC programme, Blue Peter, been around for a long time. To get a Blue Peter badge was an incredible thing. It's been around from when I was a kid. 11% of my students got Blue Peter badges in this particular year, because we threw them into a whole variety of leadership programs with the BBC. But whatever's around there, whatever's tangible, we heard yesterday the young student who stood up and talked about SpaceX. You find out what's the passion of the children, what turns them on, what resources you have available, and then use that as well as you can for your community. Involving the students in those, and actually not what we think the opportunity should be. A 51-year-old man deciding what's best for an 11-year-old student. Actually, I've got some pretty good ideas, but they may have even better ideas. It's actually having the courage of schools to go with their suggestions. Embed the student leadership in the voice of the school. The voice is really important. Quite often, when I talk to schools about the student voice, they'll say, yes, we have a voice, but we don't think it's heard. If you ask students their opinions, not just about the chips in the canteen, the food they eat, but about maybe the quality of teaching, maybe around provision in school, what they think about how they happy or enjoy school. Listen to them, engage with them, and they will tell you what they think. Students are very honest. Here we have a group of students we listen to, students here in particular, the Brexit vote in Europe, England, or remaining or exiting the EU. We had a debate within school, the pros and cons, or fors and against. A whole variety of people came in, the students debated, the students then voted to say which way they would go. We brought those things in real, to give real life experiences to the students, to practice and engage. There's a real disengagement with voting within the UK. And again, if we don't teach and encourage those interests in school, it's likely not to happen. Okay, I want to give one example from the brand new school I showed you that we opened in 2012. In 2011, on the doorstep, we were right in the middle of the community, there was a series of riots across the UK, and we were right at the heart of those riots. Shops were burnt, cars were, this is at CCTV outside the school, riot police on the streets. It wasn't a particularly good place to be. It happened just at the end of the summer, before we came back into school. And it was a serious issue for us, a serious issue for us as the teachers, we engaged with those. And from this, on that first day back in school, two students, two really naughty boys, whose families were really heavily involved in the drugs that were being dealt with in the estate, came along to say, we're not happy, our community's fallen to pieces. They'd lost their house. There was a whole variety of issues going on. It was social unrest, but there was also great distrust between the police, etc. And from that, we engaged the entire school in a debate around our community. The students led that group, a bigger and bigger group of students, until we decided to take action and took the students into the community with the families. We created spaces in the school for people to stay as things were being rebuilt. We opened food banks, clothing banks, and the students organised all of this. We physically helped rebuild the community, also the social emotional aspects of rebuilding the community and opening the doors to the local community were an equal part as well, and the students were central to doing and leading that. That led on to some wonderful things. The two students actually received the following year a national award. In fact, they were asked by the Academy Trust to then go and share that with the 30 other academies, the schools within that trust, and engage their students in transformational projects to share that leadership word. The students, and in fact myself then, got a letter from Buckingham Palace. There's no photograph of the students, because it was just how it was done. I got to meet Prince Charles, the future king, and actually asked me and the students, and a couple of other schools who've been in a similar position in other areas of the country, was our approach transferable? How did we manage to energise, engage, empower the students to take leadership? Consequently, the school is now heavily involved with the Prince's Trust, helping sponsor a whole variety of activities that have spawned a new breed of student leader. The next one, again, this might seem like another name drop, it's the biggest name drop I'll ever have in my life. I then got a letter from an audience with the Dalai Lama. Wow. Okay, that was a really foggy photograph. You don't take photographs of these events. So the only photograph I've got other than that is the one where it looks like I'm a photobombing the Dalai Lama or mugging him. So we sat down together, I had a full 10 minutes, and he talked, and he knew he'd been well briefed about the work we'd done within the community with the young people. It was beautiful with the young people when we spoke very calm and gentle, and then within the conversation spoke to me and said, I've been quoted many times as saying, when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. When you listen, you may learn something new. And he turned to me and said, so listen to your students and learn. They will serve you well. Now, for me, that was a validation. The fact I was in awe of the position I was in at the time. A validation of the work we do with students. The students should run the school. The students should be central. The students within this school are passionate about that. I know people from around the world. I give some feedback from the other students within the school now. This list yesterday was created as a job description for student leaders here. This is what they believe a student leader should be. I did a similar exercise today with the staff who attended the workshop. Came up with a very similar list. I then asked, what's the difference between that and the list of just take out the word student, just put leader? There's no difference. And they were wonderful. They talked about leading with heart, about caring support, about building their own resilience so they can help and deal with support other people. The students really want to be part of the future within this school and are. I know we've got some questions, and actually we've lit a bit of a fire under those students now. And I think the school will listen well to one too many, sorry. There was one final slide we'll talk to, which was the students here said they want to be part of the curriculum change. They want to be part of the improvements of teaching and learning. They actually want to clarify their roles again and maybe even rebrand themselves and refresh themselves to make sure they can engage with the students because they are concerned about disengagement of some students around leadership. It was a really positive conference we had yesterday, but they want to be involved.